Hello, my imaginary friends. So, as you noticed, I had 2 large bags of books. So, normally I was posting game things, but I bought a bunch of books today, and I was like, who am I going to talk to about all these books? I want to talk to someone. And I'm like, my imaginary friends. Because you live in that camera, and you can't leave. You don't have a choice in this matter. I'm just going to talk at you about them. So, that works out pretty well, I think. For me, at least. Now, this is 39, I believe? 39 books. 50 pounds of book. I think that we should start measuring books by the pound. Just because. I don't know. I mean, it's like this book and this book clearly going to take different efforts to read. And that's measured in the poundage, kind of. I mean, hardcover, light cover, type of paper, the amount of words per page, that all messes with it. But it was a dumb thought, but I liked it. Anyway, let's get into this. What books I actually found myself. I'm really excited about this. Alright, so first one. Oops, there you go. You can see now. Great True Spy Stories. And this is important here. Edited by Alan Dulles. Now, if you don't know who Alan Dulles was, he was the first director of the CIA. Guy knows spy stories. The other thing that's cool is it's not just like all Cold War, World War II stuff, which, I mean, I've read a good bit about, learned, always learning. I hope there's a lot more of like the ancient stuff, the medieval stuff, the early modern stuff, which I know less like pre-revolution really. I don't know a ton about the spy game, and I'd love to know more about the spy game. And I trust that he has a good eye for picking out good ones. Alright, we're gonna have to drop these books over here somewhere. Alright. Next one. This is a Penguin book. Penguin generally does pretty decent history. It's not like a university press, but generally pretty good stuff. Tried by War. About Abraham Lincoln as Commander-in-Chief. Get it closer for you. Commander-in-Chief. Fun fact, Abraham Lincoln, second most books written about him as a human being. Out of all the human beings. The only person with more books written about them is Jesus. Don't tell like, dictators about that, because then they'll just have like order their people just to start writing books about them so they can catch up. Alright, we'll go with this one next. This has a cool cover that you can't read the title of. So it's The Discovery and Conquest of Mexico. So, if you actually look... So, there's the name. Bernal Diaz del Castillo. Castillo. He was one of the conquistadors with Cortez, and he wrote a history of the whole thing. This is a translation, because I can read a little Spanish, but not that much. And it's been edited, I believe, slightly for readability. But that's really cool. I love getting my hands on primary sources. And it's a nice hardcover, and it's got cool pictures on the front. Not pictures in there that I saw. But anyway, I'm excited. See, now I have a stack, and you can hear them whenever I drop them. Alright. Next, let's go with this history book. A History of the Balkans. I don't know the publisher. I don't know the author, but it's a chunky book. It's got not a ton in terms of bibliography. It's got a bibliography, but not a ton. So I'm not expecting it to really be a good argumentation piece, but in terms of for familiarity, covering that period, I mean, there's just so much that happens in the Balkans. And this only goes up to 1945. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. This does not only go up to 1945. My bad. Anyway, I think that it would be... actually, I'm not sure when this goes up to. It might only go up to about the end of World War One. Anyway. It'll be good just kind of like general learning reference. Not like building a deep understanding, but getting just more facts in general. Alright. Similarly, got a book about Finland called Finland. Easy enough. Yeah. Indiana University Press, so I have a little bit higher expectations for it since it's a university press. I love a good university press book. But I'm kind of expecting a very high level, just kind of like breeze through Finland. I know their neighbors much better. Sweden, Norway, Denmark. Even the Baltic states, like Estonia, Lithuania, stuff. Don't know Finland super well. Okay, here we go. Always got to learn more about presidents. We've got 41. It's a book about President number 41. That's H.W. Bush. And this was written by George W. Bush. Read George W. Bush's memoir previously. He's pretty compelling. I mean, obviously he has ghostwriters and whatnot. But that team, at least, is pretty compelling. And I'm just always game to learn more about all of our presidents because they're all fascinating people to have gotten to be president. Even if it's only for a couple days, like, or a month, you know, like the... Oh, crap, now I have to think of who that was. I believe that was William Henry Harrison. Anyway. Paired with that, got a big old book about Lyndon Johnson. Now, books about presidents in the 20th century, I basically always expect to have political leanings, you know, in there. But if you read enough of them from enough different people, then you can form your own opinions, and it's great. Here's a pair. Okay. So, this is a book, The Burger Court and the Judicial Right, and the Rise of the Judicial Right. I'm sorry. Now, if you, my imaginary friend who lives in the camera, don't understand what the Burger Court is, it is not where Burger King does his business of state. No. The Burger Court, there was Chief Justice Warren Burger for like, I think 12 years, 16 years, something like that. This argues that we should be looking at his court, his tenure as Chief Justice, as the rise of the judicial right, which a lot of people traditionally lambasted him as not being conservative enough, or, you know, too conservative. Everyone always has an opinion on everything with the court stuff. I'm interested in seeing how this argues. Paired with that, I found this. The Constitution Unfolded. Or It Is Ordered So, A Constitution Unfolded, written by, there we go, so you can see with the light, Warren Burger. So, I'd love to get more and more stuff written, like, books meant for the main populace of not legal scholars, written by Supreme Court justices. That would be great. I would love that. There aren't any dumb Supreme Court justices. There are ones who are genius, and there are ones who maybe aren't quite genius, but I don't think any have been dumb. What do we have next? Ooh, here's a pair. The Diary of Samuel Pepys, volumes 1 and 2. That covers from 1659 to 1669. Now, Samuel Pepys was a author, a diarist, that kind of stuff in Elizabethan England. And, I mean, primary sources. You gotta have primary sources. You just gotta collect them and hoard them. So then that way, whenever you want to know about an era from the era, you have the primary sources. So that's Samuel Pepe's. Next, here's a little book, Black Hawk War. I don't really expect a ton out of this other than just, quick, easy history read. Maybe pick up a few facts as I go along. It's really quite short. Bibliography. Bibliographies are great because if you get a good book, you want it to have a good bibliography because then that means that there's just a list of new good books. That's the key to a good bibliography. That's not the key. The key is that it actually, enables good research and whatnot. But if it enables me to go and find more great books, I'm super happy. Okay. Working right through these. All right. First, Footsteps in Africa, or in East Africa, or an exploration of Harar. Okay. 2 volumes bound as 1, so I don't have to go and find the second volume. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, so it's about the exploration of East Africa. I just don't know enough about Africa. I need to know more. I need to get more books about Africa. I need to read them. I have spots of knowledge. I know Egypt decently well. Know a bit about North Africa, like Algeria, in that area. A little bit about Morocco. I know a little about the Swahili coast. A little bit about South Africa. I need to fill in that map of knowledge. Speaking of Algeria, insurgency and counterinsurgency in Algiers. Or in Algeria. So, the French held Algeria from 1830 to the 1960s. Or 50s. 50s or 60s. Irrelevant. Anyway, that was, in a lot of ways, what was fought there was the first modern insurgency and counterinsurgency. And I know a little bit about it, studying French history. I'd love to get a more focused view on what happened there. It'd also be interesting to see, compare and contrast, because you could also say that the Irish War of Independence was the first, major modern insurgency, counterinsurgency. So to get a little more knowledge to the point where I could compare and contrast those things would be fantastic. On to the next one. This one's easy to explain. The campaigns of Alexander. If I have to tell you who Alexander is in this case, we're not friends anymore. That's, even though you're imaginary. So you're imaginary, so I know that you know this because I imagine you do. Yeah, just Alexander's super interesting. His history is Mary Sue. And here's the other fun thing. The guy who wrote it, notice he's only got one name. It's not because he's like Cher and chose to have one name. It's because it's really old. This is once again, it's not quite a primary text, but it's an ancient view of Alexander. I think he was he was a Greek born during the Roman era. There you go. Around 90 AD. Rome's still around. Actually, in 900, Byzantines were going strong. Irrelevant. Think it'll be cool. More views of Alexander. Ancient views of Alexander. Alexander, history's greatest Mary Sue. Alright, need a sip here. Okay. Jungles of Stone. Here, closer for the camera. Yeah, it's about the discovery of the Mayans. Or, not the people. We know about the people. Historical old cities lost in the jungles. Mayans are super interesting because it's a jungle, right? So it gets a lot of rainfall, but it's all on limestone, so the rainfall doesn't penetrate. So then they had to have all of this very, very careful water management in a place with copious amounts of water. I love the contradictions. All right. I didn't notice Lord Kinross. I wonder if he's an actual, like, British lord. He is a Britishman, so he might be. He might be. Anyway. The Ottoman centuries, the rise and fall of the Turkish Empire. The Ottomans are endlessly fascinating. Just endlessly. I mean, the way that they build empire, but they maintain their Turkishness, but then they have to deal with the Greeks and the Balkan folk, and then there's the competing, Arab world there, who's going to dominate in terms of the Muslim world. They had to compete with the Persians. Endlessly fascinating, the Ottomans. All right. Prince Rupert. Portrait of a Soldier. And look, it's his portrait. So, who was Prince Rupert? He was a prince during the 30 Years' War. 30 Years' War is something I need to know more about, because it is one of those pivot points in European history, and I can give you a Wikipedia synopsis level on it, but I am definitely not to the point where I would consider my level of knowledge any kind of scholarship. Need to fix that. Way to start is reading books that aren't necessarily meant for deep, like, academic thing. Got to get your base level first. Written by a general, which is interesting. But British general. Alright, this was recommended to me by a friend, a history friend. Prince of the Marshes. Just a very, it was supposed to be a very, very insightful book about everything that we had to do, everything that went on in Iraq, problems, seeing it on the ground. The guy who recommended it to me, I definitely trust his opinions on, his base level opinions on good, not good, and this is definitely an area that he knows way more than I do. So, you gotta listen to your history friends. He comes to me for Chinese history, which I have history. It's a relative thing. It's a comparative advantage. See, gotta study your economics, my imaginary friends. All right, Baltic Revolution. Speaking of areas, I think the theme today was primary sources and areas of history that I just lacked on, as opposed to areas that I was already strong and getting stronger. But anyway, Baltic Revolution, Yale book, I believe, Yale University Press, which I'm very happy with because, is it? Yeah, Yale University Press. I didn't get a ton of University Press today. Don't know why. But anyway, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania in the path to independence. And there you see a giant statue of Lenin being craned away. So, big hopes on that. The fall of the Soviet Union. Very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to be writing books about that and redefining our understanding of it for generations. So this book has a price sticker in pounds. I just noticed that here. See? No idea how it got here. Anyway, that's really interesting. The book itself, writing the story of alphabets and scripts. Not a very deep thing, but it's got pictures of scripts and, like, writing is such an interesting thing, how it develops and changes and whatnot. So, a lot of picture, A lot of graphic. So, interested in seeing the quality of it, but I think it'll be fun. And it doesn't seem like a very, it's not a hefty read, so even if it's not great. And also with the book sale, I got all of these in a book sale, and I think I end up paying, because I paid by the bag. I got 2 bags, so I think I ended up paying like, it's less than $2 a book. So if I only read half of them, and the other half go to waste, which I'll read all of them eventually, I think. But if I only read half of them, that's $4 a book, and 20 more books-ish, ready to go whenever I have an interest in whatever they're about. All right, Saboteurs, the Nazi raid on America, about Nazi saboteurs in the U.S. Seems very interesting. Yeah, kind of fits with the spy book from before. That's obviously less about, like, I'm pretty good on my World War II history, at least on the high level. So, just different facets to learn about. All right. This one. The Science and Art of Trekking. This I'll definitely actually read. It's like it's got pictures, to teach you things, a lot of words in here too, just pictures and pictures. So, yeah, I like to have an academic knowledge of such things. I want to be conversant in all the things. So you got to read a lot and talk to a lot of people to be conversant in all the things. All right, the next pair are reference books. So that's done with the history books. Now we got 2 reference books I got here. They're an odd pick, but I'm an odd guy, so yeah. First one, Naval Law. And it's written by 2 guys from JAG. Or whatever that's called, the naval attorneys. Yeah. Okay, so one's a lieutenant commander, or was at the time, and the other was a lieutenant. And it's just a lot of naval law, Because now if I have a question about naval law, I can look it up. Don't at me. All right. The other one, similarly, is military law. Let's see, we got more Navy guys. Just this way I can look things up. I believe in reference books about all the topics. And one day, my descendants will thank me when they need to look up the scientific name of an herb in their garden, and they can look at my Cornell, University of Agriculture, University School of Agriculture, giant book of plants. It happens. This is not one of my books from the sale. It just hasn't been shelved because I didn't want to have to reshelve everything before I went to the sale. So it goes. All right. Now we have fiction. The thing about my fiction is I like to hunt and fill in gaps in series before I even start them. So, for example, I'm one day going to read The Wheel of Time. I have been slowly collecting the Wheel of Time books. Let's see, I had, going into this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 10 of them. There's only like 11 billion. And now I have book number 4. Didn't have book number 4. Now I do. I know I have book number 1. I don't know the ordering I have quite on that. Anyway, so there was that. I've read the first 2 Dark Tower books. I've enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. Here's book number 4. Don't have book number 3. Yep, book number 4. There you go. Don't have book number 3. I'll get it at some point. Then I'll read book number 3 and 4. But I'm not going to Not gonna just stumble on that. Now I'm not going to have to pay $10, which is the back cover price on this. All right, and then I had a bunch of Sanderson. I didn't have that Sanderson. I've read one book of Sanderson. I've read Elantris. I have the Mistborn trilogy, and now I have these too. This is Shadows of Self. I don't know where it fits in. I just know I didn't have it and I wanted it. Bands of Mourning. I don't have that, right? Yeah, no, I don't have that. See, there you go. Those were both Mistborn, apparently. I didn't know he wrote a thing called The Reckoners, but now I have the second book of it. Now I just have to find the first book and then I can read them. And the Rhythmist. I got no idea what this one's about. It looks cool. And I don't even think that it's like connected to anything. I can just like pick it up and read it. All right. Oh, those are unstable. Let's turn that. Let's make that stable. Okay. I got some classics. A Picture of Dorian Gray and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde. Call of the Wild. Let's go from Wild to Wild. Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. And yeah, so those are my classics. Then I decided recently that I've been enjoying the little bits of science fiction that I've read. You know, it's time to read some more. So I found where they had Asimov. And I just took all of it. Just all of it. I have no idea what's what. Zero. I don't know how they fit into series. I'll figure that out later when I go to read them. But what I have is, okay, so this is book 4 of the Foundation series. It's Foundation's Edge. No, I'm not going to read that one first. This says Asimov's Mirage, but it was written by someone else. Interesting. Set it in the world of Asimov. Well, we don't count this as Asimov. But once again, $2. It'll probably be okay. Whatever. Alright, this says Book 3, Before the Golden Age. Collected with commentary by Asimov. Oh, so this is just a short story collection that he edited. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with just a random hodgepodge. That works for me. This is a book on algebra. Realm of Algebra. I'm pretty good with algebra. Although, maybe... Yeah, no, this is just... this is just a book on algebra. Huh. Now I have it. What the heck? Alright. This says Foundation and Earth. So I imagine it's in the Foundation series. Yeah, well, there you go. Don't know where it is. Not number 4. I know that much. Let's see. Can I tell? Can I tell? Oh, look at that. It's number 5. And then we have one that says Prelude to Foundation. Is it a prequel? Is it the first one? I don't know. If it's a prequel, then I would read it after I'd read it in the order of publishing. Generally how I do. Not always, but generally. And yeah, that's what I got. I gotta figure out how to fit them all on my shelves. But it's been fun talking to you for half an hour about me books. And you were stuck in your little camera and you couldn't run away. Anyway, I've decided, yes, that this YouTube channel is now going to be about just whatever I want. So maybe I finish a history book and I want to talk about it to someone and I don't have someone to talk to about it. My imaginary friends stuck in the camera. You guys are probably in for a ride if I decide to do that. You know, if I'm taken by the whim. But yeah, no, this has been fun. More aviary attorney is coming at some point, probably like Monday this weekend. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I will talk to you soon.